Welcome to the DIY Homefront. I'm Ben, and today I'm going to try to figure out if a larger jack makes it easier to change the oil in a car or not. So let's look at what I bought and sort of do a halfway product review and find out if a bigger jack is a big deal. Well, I've been using this Pittsburgh jack for probably about 10 years, and it really doesn't do a bad job at all, but it doesn't jack the car up very high. So that's the reason why I went for this larger one. But man, it is heavy. It's a good thing it's on wheels, because when it says a two-man lift and weighs between 50 to 99 pounds, they are not kidding. Well, let's get it out of the box and see what we've got. Well, everything seems to be packaged up good enough. Well, there you go. It'll lift it up in the air almost 20 inches. Well, the handle comes in two pieces and you end up clicking it together. And once you've done that, it's 50 inches long, which makes it easy to move the jack around and gives you plenty of leverage to pump it up. Easy enough. Well, I didn't realize we might have some setup instructions, especially the fact that we might need to top off the hydraulic oil. Well, I will go get the hydraulic oil and we'll run the intro. And if you're curious about product reviews, I've got a playlist that's just that, titled Product Reviews or Unboxing. So there's 4 screws, 2 on each side, that hold a cover on top of the jack that's got Pittsburgh stamped on it. And the hydraulic fill port is below that metal plate. Once you've got the 4 screws out, the plate just lifts up and you can see exactly where that fill port is for the hydraulic fluid. Now it should be full, but I'm going to check it and top it off anyway. Well, when you remove the screw, you can't really tell if it's full or not. Well, this is the only hydraulic fluid I have. It's for my John Deere tractor, and it's going to have to do. Well, I was only able to get 2 capfuls of hydraulic fluid into the fill port, and it's not going to need much, I bet. So I don't know how empty it was or if this was even necessary, but better safe than sorry. I am going to be jacking up a car and I am going to be underneath it, and I really would like to err on the safety side. Okay, with the filler port screw tightened back up, I'm going to move on to that Pittsburgh cover and the 4 screws that secure it into place. Well, as long as I'm trying to take care of everything before I use it for the first time, I might as well go ahead and put a couple of pumps of grease in this grease fitting to make sure that the swing arm is well lubricated. Now, if you own a jack and you're going to add some grease to it like this, I would just keep pumping grease in until you saw fresh grease come out of the grease fittings and wipe and clean everything up. And if you're wondering what this little ring is that I've got on this grease gun, I put it on the handle so that way it keeps the grease from oozing out over time when it's sitting on the shelf. Hopefully this is the first and last time I pick that up. Oh my goodness, that is heavy. Can you see the little lip? This screw I'm taking out actually locks it in place. That tightens up and holds it in place. Now you can just leave this hand tightened if you want to, like maybe if you're going to take the handle on and off for storage, but I don't plan on doing that, so I'm going to tighten the handle up with the wrench and just it'll be on there permanently. That is really a big difference. I didn't realize how much of a difference it was going to be. I also spent a few dollars and got this puck to go on the end. Well, hopefully you can see where this is in the middle. But at least I'll be able to use that when it's at its highest setting. I've got something you're supposed to do to your floor jacks that I never knew about. Do you see that? That is supposed to be bent in. And it will catch on the bottom and keep that from falling out when you're moving them around. And I had never done that. So if you want to do that to your jack stands, the easiest way to do it is just to use a nail punch and just take a hammer and bend that tab back. And once you do, it should work like this. And the top will never fall out again. Well, I ate dinner with my wife and she's supposed to be heading out of town for a couple days, and she told me the maintenance light was on in her car. So when I checked, It needed to have the oil changed, so we're gonna get this done tonight and we'll see how this new jack compares to the old one. Well, there it is. That's what it's like at the very top. Well, this is a 1.5 ton Harbor Fright Pittsburgh jack, and its maximum lift height is about 14 inches. You can see I can't get under the car sideways. I normally have to put the car at the very end of the driveway because there's a drop off, and it's about the only way I can access all the screws to take off the cover, to get to the drain plug, and to get to the oil filter. And here you can see the back tire is just barely off the ground when the jack's raised all the way up. Alright, so you've seen what my old jack does. Let's try the new one and see how it works out. Well, this is a low profile jack, and it's about 3.5 inches off the ground from where the lifting point is, but this jack could easily roll all the way under this car and then raise it to its maximum lifting height of just under 20 inches. Well, you can see this definitely gets me up under there without struggling at all. Wow, there's plenty of working room under the tire now. I guess the real question is, where do you put the jack stand? There are reinforced lifting points behind the front tire and before the back tire, but really there's not a whole lot of room for you to put a jack and a jack stand in the same area. And here's that reinforced section, and if you look closely you can see where there's a slight bend where the way the car is resting on this jack stand. This jack is considered a rapid pump jack, but I have actually sped up the film. It doesn't raise this quick. Well, now that I've got it resting on the highest setting for those jack stands, when you look from the front, there's a lot of room under here. Well, if you're a larger person like I am, I would definitely recommend this jack or another jack that has a height of at least 20 inches. I can be on either side and I can roll in between, and I don't feel like I'm restricted in my movements in any way. So when I purchased it, this jack should have cost $159, and it was right in their middle of lineups as far as their jacks go. They have the Daytona, which is supposed to be a little bit fancier, that comes in colors, but that's usually about another 20 bucks. But the best thing I can say with Harbor Fright is just wait. They end up having coupons where they mark stuff down or where they give 25% off a single item. And if you take advantage of that, you'll do just fine. There was also a long reach, low profile jack that would lift things 24 inches high. But the jack itself was so long, I don't know if I would have been able to fit it into the spot in my carport where I keep it. It was also $80 more, and that was a deal breaker. Well, I still have to go inside of the car and reset the oil life and put oil in the engine, but I'm done with that task. That new Harbor Fright jack really is the bomb. I wish I had gotten it a long time ago. I know it's going to make a lot of projects I'm going to do on the cars and truck a lot easier because it's going to get the vehicles up in the air and I can use jack stands a whole lot easier. If I had to pick it up and tote it, I'd get rid of it tomorrow. Well, that's it for this video. Like, subscribe, check out my playlist, and I'll see you when I'm using that jack again.